Welcome to the Turd Ferguson 619 podcast or live stream. You there? It's me, and I have a special guest today, and we're going to be talking about what's new in the news. So, have you heard anything new?
You have a docket, you tell me.
So,
I'd hate to go off topic.
So first up, you sent me this email. You were the first one to let me know about this.
Well, only because you don't keep your ear to the ground, but whose fault is that?
On the digital ground. Nintendo announced that they will be releasing the Super NES Classic.
I think it was leaked, and that's why they just made the announcement. I don't know if they're, because it's not coming out till September, like late September. I think that's what happened, but I don't know. I don't look into the news.
So it was leaked, you think, within Nintendo, or they invited somebody outside of Nintendo and that person leaked it?
I don't know. I'm not really into the particulars.
And when do you think it's coming out? December again?
No, I sent. Apparently, you didn't open the email because it says like September 20 something.
When did the last one come out? Did the last one come out in around September or December?
I feel maybe November. I think November.
Yeah, I think so too. That people
you could literally Wikipedia it, but no.
People were trying to get it for Black Friday.
That legal pad is more useful to you right now.
I just thought that you had some of this stuff off the top of your head
Nope.
because this is your expertise.
Nope.
And are you planning on getting the Super NES Classic?
Probably.
Are you
got the NES Classic?
You got the NES Classic. Some of these games for NES and SNES can be found online.
Yeah, I have a RetroPie. For anyone that doesn't know what a RetroPie is, it's essentially a small little computer doodad, and then you can just, you put an OS on top of it, and it pretty much just runs all your ROMs, so you can play a bunch of old games. And pretty much after the NES Classic Edition came out, I got it, and I'm like, well, let me get some NES games, some SNES games too, and a bunch of the games that were listed for the SNES Classic Edition, I already have on my RetroPie, but I'll probably still get it because I hate my life. It's like $79.99.
Are you gonna try to follow the same strategies that help you become successful in getting the original?
They claim
NES?
they're gonna make more. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Doubtful, but yes, I will be standing in line at my local Target at 4 in the morning.
For how many hours?
I said 4 in the morning.
Till what time do they open the store? 8 a.m. or 10?
I don't remember. I think they gave out the little voucher things at 7 in the morning.
So 1 hour later.
I said 4.
Oh. Math, I'm not good at. And the best part about owning it is actually having that little box that
It's
resembles...
a neat little... I got my RetroPie, and I got a boring generic black box. And meh. But then you get that NES Classic, ooh, look, it looks just like the real thing. Ooh. And then you look at the new SNES and looks just like the real thing. And apparently the front ports even look like like the SNES. I don't think that the controllers will connect with ports that connect from the classic SNES, but who knows? We'll see. Probably not.
Now, they only leaked the SNES, but they haven't revealed the games yet.
Yes, they have. You've done literally no research. It says 21 games, even a game that was previously never released. You know what game that is? No, you don't. You didn't do the research. It's Star Fox 2.
That game was never released?
Correctamundo.
Not even for N64?
Period. Please go do your research.
So, which game are you...
I love the half-assedness of this, expecting me to do all the work.
Which game are you most looking forward to playing?
Well, can you pull up the list?
Yes, I have it right here.
Oh,
Only
interesting
7...
how you didn't have it sooner.
I thought it was just a picture.
I thought you were a producer.
I thought you sent
Pretty
me...
shit.
I thought you sent me
You didn't... Did you even open the email?
Yes, I did.
Apparently not.
I didn't know there was an article.
You didn't... Oh, I didn't know I had to scroll through the rest of the webpage.
Yeah, I just thought you sent me a picture. It's known as the golden age of gaming. 16-bit gaming returns.
I don't know. That Atari 2600 has a lot more classics. You ever play E.T.?
So a fun one is gonna be Super Mario World.
Mm-hmm.
Now Mario Kart.
Only stupid people think Super Mario Brothers 3 is the best Mario game of all time. It's funny because they're wrong.
I never had a Super Nintendo, but I did get to play Super Mario World when they released it on the portable gaming consoles, Game Boys.
Game Boy Advance.
I remember playing Mario Kart on the Game Boy as well.
Well, you played it on the DS. I don't know if you played it on the Game Boy.
I just remember we used to play that game and it was really fun.
Yes, it was.
Now, I remember when we played the retro version, it was really hard to control the game.
It was poopy.
And then on the Game
it'll
Boy,
be the same.
on the Game Boy, it was like the controlling,
DS.
the steering was good. On the DS, it was really good. So you expect that the maneuvering, the steering isn't going to be that well.
Well, I'm curious if it has to do with the emulation. Like, I don't know if maybe the controls are whack. I doubt it, but hey, you never know. We'll see what happens come SNES time.
And then there's The Legend of Zelda. I've never played that game. Have you?
Nah, I never played Link to the Past.
And then there's
Even though everyone
F-Zero.
says it's the best. Essentially Mario Kart, but spacey and faster.
Super Metroid.
Another game. We didn't have an SNES, so guess who didn't play SNES games?
Us.
Correct.
Then they're also going to release Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I love Street Fighter
We
games.
played those in the arcade and I guess a bit in the Genesis.
Punch Out.
Sega does when Nintendo don't. That's the one without Mike Tyson, but essentially the same game.
Better graphics, I guess.
Yeah, 16-bit.
Castlevania.
Minus the blast processing.
Castlevania 4.
Yeah, it's just a remake of Castlevania 1.
And then here's a really fun one. Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, played that. Not on SNES. Have like 14 different ports from like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. Well, I guess just those two, but you know, we've multiple times playing Donkey Kong Country.
I don't know if it's your favorite level, but my favorite level is when you're riding the mine carts
Mm-hmm.
and you're going on the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Is that also your favorite level?
My favorite levels are the water levels because those are the best levels in every video game never.
Then you have Mega Man 10.
Okay.
I've only played one Mega Man game, and that was on the original Nintendo.
We're really bad at being video game fans because we don't play any of the classics and we've played almost none of the games on this list.
I didn't get a...
But I'll still spend $80 on the fucker.
No, but we didn't have Super Nintendo. We had a Sega Genesis instead of Nintendo.
Suck it, Mario. I have Sonic.
Then there's Kirby Superstar.
Never a big fan of Kirby, but then again, never really played that much Kirby.
Which Kirby looks like Jigglypuff, the Pokemon.
Yeah, Kirby. Kirby looks like Jigglypuff, and I think they have a similar moveset in Smash Brothers. Hey, I played Smash Brothers.
Final Fantasy 3,
Is that technically Final Fantasy 6?
maybe.
Because I think in Japan it was 6, but in America it was 3. I think that's how it goes. People say that's like one of the... Like, aside from 7, everyone says 7's the best, but I think aside from 7, people say 6 is good too. It was like along the top tier.
So 6, which is 3, is the best?
Yeah, sure.
Then there's Kirby's Dream
It's
House.
neck and neck.
Or-
Another Kirby?
Yeah, 2 Kirby games. Kirby Superstar, 8 games in 1.
Okay, so that's just I think it's just a compilation of all the old Kirbys.
Then
Kerbos.
Kirby's Dream Course.
Kerbois. I know next to nothing about Kirby, so I can't help you in this department.
Star Fox.
Everybody knows Star Fox.
And then I guess they're advertising that it has special sound effects.
Ooh. Blast processing.
Yoshi Island.
I played that on the GBA.
Super Mario RPG.
That was made from the people that make Final Fantasy, and I don't know. I'm
But-
not excited, but hey, maybe buying the $80 piece of plastic, maybe I will.
But then check this out. It's called Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
Okay.
Game of Thrones, their religion is the 7 pointed stars. Is this kind of like a hint at
No.
a crossover, a Mario Game of Thrones crossover in the future? I don't know. I just present the facts and let you people
That's not a
decide.
fact. What facts?
It says right here, Super Mario RPG, Legend of
You
the
just
Seven
said two
Stars.
things.
And then in Game of Thrones, their religion is the seven pointed stars.
So two fictional things have a number associated with them.
I mean, I could see Princess Peach being
Next
the same
topic,
as
please.
Contra 3,
Eh.
Secret of Mana, another game.
That's a I think I don't know if it's cult classic-y, but I know it's a name that pops up a lot for big fans of, I guess. Is that a JRPG? Probably a JRPG.
Earthbound.
Now that's a cult classic. Everybody goes nutsos about Earthbound, like, oh, where's Earthbound 2 or 3 or whatever.
And the character on the box looks like the same one from the movie. What was the name of the movie with Keanu Reeves? It was a remake. The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Well, there you go. You didn't need to ask me for it.
And last but not least, Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Okay.
And those are all the 21 games that will be made available.
There was 30 for the NES Classic. So, hey, Nintendo, why are you Oh, 2 controllers instead of 1. So that's kind of nice. Doesn't really feel justified in that price, though. You're
No.
getting less games and extra control. How many of those? I mean, I don't think a lot of those games were multiplayer. Maybe
You're
your
right.
maybe your F-Zero, maybe your Mario Kart, and I guess, I don't know.
Donkey Kong and Super Mario.
But I mean, a lot of those games aren't like, they're co-op in the sense that, hey, wait for player 1 to finish and then player 2 can go. Which ain't really saying much. Look at me, I'm on 3rd Street Promenade.
So they're giving you 2 controllers, but only a few games are multiplayer.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What's so funny about gruesome violence? Blue Lives Matter.
Oh, I just love the way the game ends. They make it look all cinematic and gory. Now, when they announced and released the Nintendo Classic, they announced a few games, and everyone thought there was going to be an expansion pack, or they were going to do something where you could download additional
Well,
Nintendo
people were
games.
curious if there was going to be like an NES Classic version. It's like, hey, how come you don't have DuckTales or a bunch of Capcom games or whatever? And it's like, are they going to make like an NES Classic too? No, apparently not. So, you get what you get. And then for this one, you're getting even less than what you get. And they're charging you more, and they're probably not making a version 2. And wait till next year, and fingers crossed, hopefully they make the N64 Classic Edition. And fingers crossed if they put some goddamn wrestling games in there, because that's all I want to play it for.
Well, when we played Nintendo 64,
And I guess GoldenEye.
we enjoyed the wrestling
No
games.
mercy!
The best part was being luchadores, because you get to do flips, jumps, rolls, tucks.
I don't know if the Luchadors were in No Mercy. I know they were in WCW NWO Revenge.
Oh, that's the one. I played the hell out of
Who
that
was it?
game.
Rey Mysterio and Ultimo Dragon were definitely... Sorry, sir. We're definitely in that, but I don't recall. But hey, you got your Create a character, so that was fun.
So, any rumors if we're going to get an expansion pack or
No,
additional
of course
games
not.
for the NES?
They still can't even make enough Nintendo Switches. What makes you think they're gonna make an? Well, I guess if they want a nickel and dime, the bastards. But nah, I don't. They didn't do it for the first one. They canceled that shit like 6 months after they released it and said sorry.
That was weird how they just canceled it so fast.
Yeah, now I have a $200 piece of plastic sitting in my living room that I never use.
Do you think they're ever going to bring it back or do something with it?
It's called the SNES Classic Edition.
So then we're going to get
Like
the
a glove.
Super NES, and then do you know...
Yeah, record that game clip. Huh? You're talking?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
When they release the Super NES, do you know if they're going to do anything that the fans or the community hope they do? Like additional games, downloads, or anything?
Probably not.
Or is this...
the point of this is just a plug and play. That's why it was such a hot Christmas item. All the 30-something-year-olds that played the NES back when they were babies were like, oh man, I could get this for my grandkids, and then you get a pissed off mom that like shows up a little too late at the Target and realizes she didn't come in on time, and then gets pissed off when she finds out they're all sold out. Well, hey bitch, you shouldn't have showed up 30 minutes before the store opened. You should have showed up at 4 a.m. just like the normal smart people did. Brickseek.com.
Do you think they're gonna cancel the Super NES?
Well, I don't, because
After a few months?
shut up. Here's what's weird, and Nintendo's been a weird broken machine for a long time. So that's like, hey, we don't have enough Switches. Hey, we don't have enough NESs. Hey, we do weird practices that I can't really name more examples of. So I'm curious, like, it doesn't seem like they got their shit together for the Switch, and they didn't get their shit together for the NES Classic. I doubt they'll have their shit together for the SNES Classic. I don't know. I don't trust them. People have been complaining about Nintendo's weird practices for a long ass time, about not manufacturing enough things, and then like you can't walk into a store and buy like copies of the game you want when they come out. You can't buy the new console when it comes out. You can't anything for the new anything. So I don't know. I think people are going to have to jump on Amazon or whatever to get the SNES Classic right away, and then you're probably going to have to wait a long ass time for it to come back in stores, or you're going to have to, like, I don't know, have your bookmarklets or whatever saved for brickseek.com for wherever you can find the SNES and hope for the best. You'll probably have, fingers crossed, better odds than last time, but it's hard to say. Difficult to say.
Do you think when they manufacture the games, most of them they sell them in Japan, and then whatever's left over?
In Japan, it was like I know you don't like doing your research or your homework, and you don't like being a producer for this show, but they had a different version for Japan. It was called the Famicom Classic, which looks like the Japanese NES, because they didn't have the NES, they had the Famicom, Famicom, and it looked just like it. So they manufactured that. I don't think they manufacture that many. I don't know. I didn't look at the sales numbers or anything. I just know it was a pain in the ass for the American version. But I'm guessing it's going to be a completely... I guess the box is pretty similar. I don't know. I don't know. Because if you look at the Famicom Classic Edition, it's just a different box. Like, it comes with two controllers, but they're attached to the box, and like the outer casing is different, and it had a few different games. It probably wasn't super difficult to manufacture from the American version, but it is different enough where, I mean, they had two different manufacturing things. But I don't know. I don't know about Japan records.
And then an additional thing you said about Nintendo's practices, if anyone tries to play a game on YouTube or Twitch, Nintendo shuts that down?
Well, I don't know. I think, like, I don't know if they shut it down, but they'll take that ad rev. They'll take those sweet pennies and nickels. Which, I mean, if you don't want to make money off YouTube, that's all fine and dandy. Because it's like, Nintendo plays nice with people that I guess are brand friendly to them. Like, oh, I make G-rated content on my YouTube channel. I'll send you stuff. Nintendo Me will send you, G-rated YouTuber stuff or whatever. We can be partners in this, but I mean, if you're like, all sorts of cussing and swearing and ethnic slurs, then Nintendo will probably be a little harsher towards you.
So pretty much, we will never get anything sent to us from Nintendo because we're more PG-13.
Fuck you.
Anything else you want to add about Nintendo Super NES? Wait, we won't get flagged, right? Because we're talking about Nintendo?
I don't know. Who cares? It's not like you're monetizing this. Not like you're big enough to get any money.
That's true. I'm pretty much a David, and Nintendo would be a Goliath.
That's cute. You think you're David?
Anything else you want to add about Nintendo?
You think you can topple the giant? That's cute.
Anything else you want to mention about Nintendo before we move on to the next topic?
Fuck you for making me spend $80 on your shitty box. I'm still going to buy it.
And he's talking to me.
Still going to stand it. No.
He's not talking to Nintendo.
No, I'm talking to Nintendo. Fuck you, Nintendo, for making a thing I want to spend $80 on that I'll play for, like, that Christmas Day.
If you can find it.
Assholes. Please manufacture a bunch so it's easy for me. Because it would, like, it shouldn't have been as huge as like, the NES Classic. I guess it makes sense that it was such a huge thing, but it should have been like, you should have, to this day, you should have been able to walk into your Walmart or whatever and just, like, pick one up and, like, oh, there you go. Because I bet it cost dick all to manufacture. It was pretty cheap. I think it was it $40? You don't know, nothing. It was, like, pretty cheap and just it was super simple thing. Just, hey, plug in your power, plug in your HDMI, plug in your controllers, and it's good to go. So, I mean, it should have been easily accessible for anybody because it was a low barrier for entry. Just, hey, nostalgia nerds, pick this up. Hey, families that want to give your babies, like, easy G-rated games to play, whatever. But, nah. You made it exceedingly difficult, and only the super hardcore fans were able to get it.
Because you bring up a good point that there's things in the past that people had that it's part of that point in time, but we never saved it. We threw it away, or we moved on to new technology, and now retro technology is coming back. It's trendy. It's in style.
Or literally just go on Amazon and buy a RetroPie 3. Buy a kit that comes with just about everything you need, and then just install RetroPie, and then shove all your ROMs on an SD card, and boom. Not only do you get NES and SNES and Sega Genesis and N64 and all the other things you want for less. Because you can... Don't tell Nintendo or Sega this, but you can just download all those ROMs for free. Link in the description below.
Great. More work for me.
No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that, and I really don't condone you. Because I don't know. You probably get also, because like I've seen, like when I was first setting up the RetroPie, like I'd watch videos for clarity, and a lot of the guys would be like, okay, and then you're gonna go to whatever website you want. I'm not gonna link anything, but I'm pretty sure you could figure it out. While on the video, you see them just Googling like blah 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 ROMs, and then there it is, and it's the top link. Normally the top link works. The one or two people that'll listen to this, the top link tends to work.